My family makes a living by raising ornamental fish. Mom specializes in breeding a type of fish that's several meters long. It has a bright red oversized tongue sticking out. This fish looks extremely terrifying. But female tourists keep visiting our home non-stop. To earn more money, Mom even launched an exciting activity to swim with the fish. Every woman who tried it came out weak in the knees, blushing all over. I was very curious. Mom never let me visit the viewing area. Until one night, a tourist's necklace fell into the fish pond. I sneaked in while Mom was asleep, put on a diving suit and dived in to retrieve it. But I got entangled by 3 fish. After I started going out with women outside, Mom transformed the shop into a place for viewing giant arapaima fish. The fish looked terrifying with a bluish face and fangs. Its massive mouth held a thick long tongue. Its multi-meter long body clumsily swam in the water. She put all her focus into raising the fish. Even stopped playing cards. I was happy about this change. But I couldn't help worrying about her business sense. Sooner or later this shop would lose everything. Because the fish's huge size and carnivorous nature make it totally unsuitable as an ornamental fish. Mom, this fish's tongue can't retract. It hangs out and looks disgusting. Who would want to buy such an ugly fish to display at home? I asked while standing by the large aquarium touching the glass. But Mom looked at me with disdain. You don't understand. I have my reasons for doing this. There will be rich women willing to pay for them. Mom scolded me harshly, warning me not to mention the fish's tongue in front of it. This creature is intelligent, it can understand words. I watched as Mom poured large amounts of premium beef into the tank. I couldn't help but mutter to myself, a stylish. She treats that fish like her own child. I don't even get to eat beef like that. Before I could continue muttering, woman dressed like a wealthy lady walked in. Sister Yanmei, the usual please. A ticket for swimming with the fish. The woman was elegant and graceful. Her diamond earrings sparkled under the light. Lustrous pearl necklace adorned her white neck. A pleasant fragrance wafted towards my nose as she moved. Sister Yanmei, you haven't been here in a while. Don't worry, I've prepared everything for you. Go ahead. Mom smiled, taking her hand. She slipped the ticket for swimming with the fish into her hand. Thank you, sister. You really understand me. My husband is away on a business trip. So I thought I'd come here to relax. After I visited last time, my husband said I felt much smoother and tighter. All thanks to you, sister. The woman laughed, a slight blush flashing across her fair face. Then she turned and walked towards the viewing area. I watched her rush off. Feeling a bit puzzled, I glanced over at Mom, who was counting money. Mom, if she wants to swim, why not go to a swimming pool? Why swim with the fish? This time Mom didn't scold me like she usually does. Instead, she leaned in close with a smile. Silly girl, she's here for some fun, of course. Didn't you just mention the fishes? Mom caught herself cutting off her own words. Then she pursed her lips and said it was nothing, telling me to wait and help escort her out later. Half an hour passed. I had just arrived at the viewing area, when I heard strange cries from Song Jiali inside, and the sound of splashing water hitting the glass. I thought she had a leg cramp, so I quickly grabbed a pole to pull her out. I didn't notice the 2 strange fish lurking around her legs. Dear girl, could you ask your mom for me? Let me take one of the fish home. I really like it. I feel awful when I don't see it. She knelt by the pool's edge, her face bright red. Her eyes seemed unfocused. She kept patting her chest, gasping heavily for air. Her entire body was trembling. There was a huge tear in her diving suit. She looked completely disheveled. She no longer resembled the cool, elegant goddess from before. Sister Jiali, let me take you to rest. You must be exhausted from swimming. Mom says you can get a yearly pass. Our fish can only be kept here. They die if taken away. It's not the first time a guest wanted to take one home. I stepped forward to help her up. Her legs were like noodles, trembling uncontrollably. She had to lean on me completely for support. There was even a bit of drool dripping from her lips. It can't come every day. By the way, didn't you start dating a young singer? How's it going? She took a while, wiping the water off her face. She squinted and teased me with a smile. Her question embarrassed me, and I quickly blushed, lowering my head and saying no. My heart was pounding like a rabbit, beating faster and faster. Never mind then, you wouldn't understand, little sister. Only women whose husbands are away for long periods can appreciate this kind of pleasure. I looked at her infatuated expression, and I just couldn't understand. Isn't it just swimming with a strange fish? Why does it bring such joy? She tidied herself up, and her skin looked as smooth as a peeled egg, even more beautiful than when she first arrived. Mom smiled and escorted her out the back door. It was like a seed of curiosity, rooting itself in my heart. Mom, today Sister Jiali said she dropped her necklace in the pool. She wants us to help her retrieve it. She said it's very valuable. Later that night, I lay in bed telling Mom about Song Jiali's request. Mom listened, and nodded. Mom said she'd handle it, and told me to go to bed early. By the way, you mustn't go near the viewing pool at night. Don't even think about entering the pool. She noticed my curiosity, and gave me a stern warning in the dark. I turned away with a pout, feeling even more curious. Why wouldn't Mom let me go at night? What's so special about that fish? It has a slimy long tongue, and it eats meat. Aren't they scared at all? The more I thought about it, the more curious I became. The seed of curiosity had sprouted in my heart. I couldn't stop thinking about Song Jiali's behavior, and her words from earlier. Mom's ambiguous expressions and remarks made me want to investigate the fish, so I quietly made my way to the edge of the viewing pool. The water surface was pitch black, only faint yellow light flickering from the ceiling. It made the water look green and dark. Suddenly, a giant arapaima fish surfaced. Its tiny beady eyes stared directly at me. Then it extended its tongue above the water. The deep red tongue like a stick swayed around. It stirred the water, creating waves. Watching this, I suddenly thought of Song Jiali during the day. Her legs had gone weak as she knelt, and the two arapaima fish swimming near her legs. Seeing the size of their tongues, I felt as if I was under a spell. I took a step closer. My foot was already on the edge of the pool, feeling the cold slimy flow of the water. But in the next moment, Mom's voice sounded in my ear. Wan, what are you doing? Didn't I tell you not to come to the viewing pool at night? I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about how hard you were working, helping Song Jiali find her necklace. I stepped back from the edge of the pool, and walked over to Mom. I bit my lip looking for an excuse. You are my daughter. Of course I know what you're thinking. You still can't swim with a giant arapaima fish. When you bring your boyfriend here to meet me, then I might consider letting you try. Mom smiled slightly. She squinted her eyes and looked me up and down. Listening to her words, I felt extremely frustrated. I'll bring him tomorrow. Don't look down on me. I've told you Li Hao is a good guy. Why won't you believe me? That's enough. Let's see if you really bring him tomorrow. Mom pushed me away from the poolside. I was lost in thought about how to ask Li Hao out tomorrow, and didn't even notice the giant arapaima fish stirring in the water. Li Hao. Okay, Li Hao is the guy I've secretly liked for many years. He's tall, handsome, sunny, and cheerful. He also has an angelic voice that makes you swoon. With that, he's gained some fame online. I never expected him to confess to me not long ago. I felt like I had been hit by a huge pie falling from the sky. I was completely stunned. I always praised him, but the people around me, including Mom, didn't approve of our relationship. They just like you because you're obedient and easy to manage, and you're the type to spend money on him because of your infatuation. How much have you spent on him? My friends always told me this, but what they don't know is, I just like his handsome face, and his amazing singing voice, just like my idol. As for being obedient and easy to manage, that's just an act. I like playing the fragile, innocent girl. Men love that. I'm always like this. Mom also said that once I graduate from college, she'll tell me all the secrets of the shop. I'll also join her in running the family business. And right now, I wanted to bring him to meet Mom, hoping that Mom would fulfill her promise. Let me swim with the fish. Don't worry, Mom is a good person. And there's a big group of people today. You won't be alone facing Mom. I whispered to Li Hao, cheering him up. His hand holding mine was slightly sweaty, but when he saw Song Jiali swimming with the fish in the pool, he let go of my hand. Song Jiali, dressed provocatively, was laughing in the pool. The water highlighted her sexy curves. Her fair skin shimmered under the light, glowing enticingly, and now she was licking her lips, warmly staring at us. Li Hao and I both stared dumbfounded, but he quickly regained his composure. With gentlemanly strides he walked over, helping her out of the water. He smiled and introduced himself. Hello, my name is Li Hao. Nice to meet you. It's cold in the water, right? Here, take my jacket. You'll catch a cold in this weather. He took off his coat and draped it over Song Jiali. His words were full of concern and affection, establishing the image of a considerate gentleman. Oh, really? Little brother is so thoughtful. Why don't you come with me to get something? By the way, Wanwan's mom is there too. Come meet her. I've even prepared a nice gift for you. Hearing about the gift, Li Hao subtly smiled and followed Song Jiali to the back. I stood by the viewing pool watching the giant arapaima fish swim slowly in the water. I thought back to when it was the same with Duoduo. He used to flirt with pretty women who came to buy fish, while secretly flirting. Li Hao's actions today made me feel like he suddenly turned sleazy. I stood there silently, with only one thought in my mind. Sure enough, men are no good. I don't know how much time passed, but Mom and Song Jiali came over and stood beside me. Alright little girl, don't be upset. Such a loser. He's not worth your tears. You just haven't seen enough yet. If you knew what real satisfaction is, you would understand that men are useless. I looked at them blankly, then turned my head to search for Li Hao. Where did Li Hao go? I wanted to talk to him, but at that moment Song Jiali grabbed my arm. Her full chest pressed against my arm. At Mom's signal, she smiled and helped me put on the special diving suit. We've already seen Li Hao. He's not that impressive. We sent him home. He's not good enough for you. Song Jiali softly comforted me. But all I wanted was Mom's approval. To swim with the fish. When I looked at Mom with hopeful eyes, she crossed her arms and thought for a moment. Then she met my gaze. Fine, we just got a new one today. Why don't you give it a try? I'm sure you'll forget about Li Hao. I was a little confused. Mom had been with me all day. How could she have gotten new stock? Strange thoughts flooded my mind again. But before I could think further, Song Jiali giggled and pushed me into the water. In the next second, 2 giant arapaima fish slowly surrounded me. At the same time, they extended their bright red thick tongues. They stood upright in the water like humans. One of the giant fish opened its mouth wide at me, and a booming sound came from its throat. The loud sound vibrated through the water. The waves hit my head like a crash. Its wide-open mouth revealed sharp teeth. There was still blood and rotting flesh on them. Even though I had an oxygen mask, I could still smell the rancid odor from its mouth. At that moment, all my initial excitement and anticipation vanished. I only felt extreme fear and disgust. How could those beautiful women endure playing with these hideous, terrifying creatures? How could someone like Song Jiali, a beautiful, delicate woman, swim with 2 or 3 of them? If one of them isn't careful, the fish's large mouth could easily crush a person's head. I was terrified. The coldness of the water seeped into my bones. I began paddling backward with my arms, trying to distance myself from them. I kept tapping the oxygen mask with my ring, hoping the noise would make Mom pull me out of the water. Mom heard the sound I made, but she thought I was expressing joy. She shouted loudly from the poolside, "Wan, didn't I tell you? Isn't it great? Enjoy yourself. After all, there's not a good man among them."